That want to show how great shape they're in. They go too hard, too fast, not understand that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I was a guy that you look and you better not talk to me. Were you the hype guy? Come on, we can do it. And I hated those guys. I wanted to smack the taste out of them. Shut up. I'm concentrating.
No hype right here. I just wanted to get mine done. I was one of those guys like you, though, like I could run long distance. And so for like conditioning tests for me, I was good. It wasn't the sprint you had to get there. I could make all the times. So I was like you. But no, I ain't no hype guy, dude. The hype guys on conditioning day, everybody wants to take them out. Don't lean down. Don't touch your knees. Keep your head up, show your pride. You're like, bro, I'm just trying to get through this thing, dude. Ain't nobody out here playing me right now. I'm just trying to finish my sprints, get back in the house. Let's get this thing over.
Okay, well, that's what it's like today for the Dallas Cowboys. All that to say, and that's what's happening for the Dallas Cowboys today. But we're going to talk about a team that Jeff Saturday did play for, and there's a lot of things going on with them, and that would be the Green Bay Packers, because they report to camp in less than a week. And yesterday, Adam Schefter reported that I almost said Tom Brady, wrong guy. But Aaron Rodgers, turned down a 2-year contract extension, and that basically solidified to us. Obviously, this is not about the money for Aaron Rodgers. And so my question to you is, what is going through his head right now? What is it that he wants? What do you think it is, Jeff?
He wants out. Listen, when you think about the one thing that stayed consistent with Aaron, he hasn't made a lot of comments about everything that's going on. His only thing was, I don't want to play in Green Bay. That was his, I'm frustrated with the front office and I want to move on. So I think from his perspective, he's just trying to find a way to negotiate that point. I think Green Bay has all the leverage still right now, so there's not a whole lot he can do. He's done everything he can do, right? Just don't show up, keep pushing it off. Keep the distractions coming, and as much as being unsettled for that team as you possibly can make it. But his leverage really doesn't start until regular season games are being missed. So when I look at this thing, Aaron wants to find a way to shrink that 3 years to maybe just this year, if he can't get out this year, and then move on. So I think that's the negotiating tactic he's trying to use at this point. But he's never mixed words. That was what he said, and I think he's staying true to that part.
But, Jeff, me and you have been around the block a little bit, and we had our fair share of, high-stakes poker, so to say, when you talk about contract negotiations.
Yeah.
And when people in the average fan hear, 2-year extension, they think, it's a 5-year guaranteed deal. No, that's a way to prorate the money, bring down his initial cap hit so they can sign Devontae Adams. And then also that kind of looks bad on Aaron Rodgers that he's turning down 5-year extension or being under contract for 5 years. But we know they're not giving them 5 years, because how can you give him 5 years and then Jordan Love is going to be done? You're never going to see him play. And he's a first-round draft pick that you moved up from. So, I think that's kind of control the narrative and maybe make Aaron Rodgers look like the bad guy, because that's not the case. 2 years is just a way to prorate the money so they can sign Devontae Adams. We not stupid, Jeff.
Common sense ain't common. You know what I mean? Like when you start thinking about how the narrative that the Packers have used is genius. What they're really trying to do, and you and I both know this, and they do it in all negotiations, right? The NFL spin machine is the greatest in the world. They're trying to put pressure from the fans on Aaron Rodgers, right? They're trying to flip the script and make everybody think, he's been offered to be the highest paid player. He's going to be a prima donna now. It's about this, it's about that. We've all played for people we don't like, and all that is true, but the way they spin it is trying to put all the pressure back on him. But I think, listen, I know Aaron, I played with him for a year. This guy's pretty steadfast in his conviction. So if this is something that he's willing to go, I think he'll continue to push it. I think the only way he plays, Bart, is if they take the extra 2 years off. I think if they take the extra 2 years off, that's a decent compromise, right? I got to go play 17 games, or if it's happened through the regular season, which I think it will, however many games we got left. And you and I both know it's still the best chance for him to win the Super Bowl, not only but for the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. This is their best opportunity to win. So do it now, and then let the final years take care of themselves. I'm out of Green Bay and moving on to somewhere else.
See, but Jeff, that would take tremendous trust, right? Because, those are official, unofficial wink-winks, because they need the extension to sign Devontae Adams, because what they don't want is to say, okay, Aaron, you can come and play 1 year, we'll let you go, and then lose Devontae Adams because he's not signed. Because, if they don't sign him, then now they're stuck next year without any receivers under contract, for next year, which would mean that they're going in total rebuild mode. And if they don't win a championship, it'd be a shame that they had maybe the greatest quarterback, the last 5 to 10 years and only won one championship.
Yeah, and listen, when you think about Davante Adams, not just he, but a number of guys on the team, your locker room watches these type of negotiations. You and I both know it. We all know we're not the quarterback, right? Like we understand that portion. There's always going to be differences in the way a quarterback gets treated and the rest of just the normal guys, right? But everybody in that locker room has watched how Mark Murphy's handled this, Gutekunst has handled this. Like everybody's watching and paying attention and saying, hey, man, if I do everything right, what are they going to do? You don't think Davante Adams hadn't watched that, and he knows Aaron Rodgers not being there will affect his career, right? I mean, he gets the numbers, he gets how good he is as a player right now. He also gets, to your point, what does it really look like? Like, Jordan Love better ball out. Like, I mean, the Packers better, that is their saving grace. If Jordan Love plays well and gives Adams that type of, that charge and energy, then things will calm down. If he does not, that is a scare fest. And when you think about guys wanting to get out, Davante Adams, number one, being that probably the best receiver in the game and really the most pressure this year because he's been distracted with Aaron Rodgers. He hasn't had a chance to throw with Aaron and Jordan. He didn't do the OTAs. Like, all this stuff for him at his position is a big deal. He really wants to see how this thing plays out for his long-term future.
Ugh, so many question marks in Green Bay. At least they're celebrating in Milwaukee today, I guess, right? They can hold on for that for a little bit. Let's switch gears really quick, Jeff, before we let you go here and talk about the Cowboys. We were joking about them opening up camp today and it being conditioning day, I believe is what you guys called it. But nonetheless, expectations for Dak Prescott going forward, obviously coming off that injury. And so we'll look to training camp to kind of see how he's progressing. But what do you expect from the Cowboys?
I'm high on Dak Prescott. I really think that he's going to have a phenomenal year. I look at this offense. This is a top 5 offense, especially if the 3 offensive linemen, if Collins, Smith, and Martin come back and stay healthy, this offense is ready to roll. They got 3 receivers with Gallup, Lamb, I just lost Cooper. Amari Cooper. With Zeke Elliott and this offense is primed and ready. I mean, Dak has all the ammunition he needs to be super successful. I love the Dan Quinn pickup at defensive coordinator. You bring that defense to a mid-level. The Cowboys have a lot to be excited about. But listen, I think Dak Prescott is a really, really good quarterback. And I think everything surrounding him, starting with that offensive line, will make this an offense teams will fear throughout the season.
Jeff, can I get one more?
Yeah, of
Jeff,
course.
Last one for me, right? You play with old ass quarterbacks, right? So
to put it lightly,
you play with Peyton. Man, I feel like the fact that people think that Ben Roethlisberger is done is absurd. He had his team 11-0. He has a tremendous defense. Like I say all the time, once a man, twice a baby in the league, where you're responsible. You come in and you're young, and the team carries you. Then you're able to carry the team, and then you're back to the team carrying you. Right. We saw it with John Elway, with TD and what he needed, and we saw it with Peyton Manning in the Broncos when the defense carried him. What do you think about Ben Roethlisberger? Because I know one thing about them. They've always been able to replace great players. They always have somebody in their farm system. They're a tremendous organization.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it really has bothered me. Like, people are just taking shots on the Steelers. It's like a team went 11-0, they struggled down the stretch, and now they're just trash. Like, they can't win a game. And they didn't play anybody. I mean, you're still in the NFL, bro. You're playing people. Think whatever you want, but you're playing competition. So, and I think the scheme that Roethlisberger had to play in last year, as the season progressed, it became more and more difficult, right? This guy came off an elbow surgery. He's averaging throwing dang near 50 passes a game, and they're all the quick get it out, right? So we know as the season progressed, the rush changed. It went to 2 steps, get your hands up and create lane issues and sight issues. It became the defensive backs walked down on them and they couldn't push the ball down the field. That wasn't about Ben. That's about the offensive line. I mean, they're pass protecting that many sets. They're getting driven back in the backfield. They played very soft. They had no run game established. I thought Ben played as well as he could play last year. And I've been one of those apologists for him. Listen, the guy, think what you want, but this guy went out and threw 50 passes after that elbow surgery. You can't ask a guy to do any more. They will still be good. And don't ever bet against Mike Tomlin. That's just a fact, man. That cat gets the most out of his guys, Bart. And you and I both know it. There are certain dudes you'd put your head through the wall for That's Mike Tomlin. For every player who's played with this guy, man, he gets them amped and ready to roll, and I respect the way he do it. I ain't betting against the Steelers. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, the Steelers open camp tomorrow. Cowboys open today. Jeff Saturday, ESPN host here. We appreciate the insight. Thank you.
Bye, Jeff.
Thanks so much. Get that conditioning test, Bart.
Don't rev them up anymore, right? Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin presented by